We are just going live. I'm never exactly sure when we're going live. Fantastic. Okay, so we're live. If you're joining us, you can put some, where's the chat? Yeah, put some comments in the chat. I cannot see the chat. Okay. There we go. This is what live looks like. Live and raw. Yeah, we're here for the Thursday Thrive Q&A. Thank you to everybody for all the questions that you submitted. So I'll try to get to as many as I can today. We do these quick, Q&As. Usually Thursday's a good day. So if you're new to the Life Through Rhythm community, welcome. This is a global collective of drummers. We are stronger when we drum together. No one person can do this and become their best selves through drumming. We need mentors, we need knowledge, we need the crowdsource wisdom, and we also need to be uplifted by those on the same path and that share and understand this passion for drumming. It seems crazy to people that don't get it, but you get it. And I get it, and that's why we're here. So let's hit some things, let's have some fun. So first question comes from Stacy, and it's how do you stay motivated? So great question, Stacy. Thank you for this. And really, I'm thinking motivation comes from the word to move, right? So how do you move your butt? How do you motivate yourself? So one part of that way of thinking is motivation's nothing, right? Motivation is nothing. I've heard that quote. Has to be from something deeper. Okay, so what that just means is my first thought on motivation is it's got to come from within, right? It's not really going to come from anything outside of you. It's got to come from within, and to feel that inner fire. I believe we really need to be in touch with what I call our mighty why. And a question I love to ask drummers that join this community is where did it start for you? And it's always I don't know, I was just drawn towards it. We say, you don't choose the drums choose you. I love that saying. So it's just an inner, maybe you remember walking by a drum. I still get that feeling wow, cool. Just this spark that makes me drawn to it. And, I remember being 7, 8 years old, and you kind of start, you're wow, and you get into those bands. There's a story there that sparked it. So it's that inner kid. And that's one thing, all people that love what they do, they're like little kids. So we say, be childlike, not childish, not immature, but be let your inner child come out. So that's first thing, tap into the joy, and we call it your mighty why. What is it about this that you want to achieve, and what's your vision? So that's the difference between a dream and a vision. And some people are not clear on this, I just kind of like it. I like to just tap around. What is it you love about this? Do you love looking at this instrument like a solo instrument? Do you love connecting with musicians? Is it just your meditation to blow off stress? Is this a super creative place for you to be a composer? Or do you just like playing beats behind bands and just kind of feeling the vibe of the music? Are you working through stress and anxiety? Is it the motion? Is it the sound? Is it the flow? It's kind of going to be probably a combination of that. So that's first thing. Be really clear on what sparked this for you in the first place, your inner child, what your goals, your mighty why, and your vision. Now, last thing I'll say on this is creating habits. So you don't have to rely on motivation when you've got habits. And that's why I like to break this down into what I call the 3-minute rule. So my simple rule is I need to feel the wood in my hands once a day. That's it. Super simple. It's going to take minimum 3 minutes. I'll get to the pad or I'll get to the kit. And that's my like micro goal for the day. I just want to like minimum 3 minutes every day. We say train daily. Yes, rest and recovery is really important, but just get to it once a day. So it kind of becomes a habit. It becomes like oxygen. It becomes just like drinking water. It's just something you do to nourish your soul. And it just becomes like weird it feels strange if I don't do it. So it's a habit, and making it that little micro goal, like 3 minutes, that just kind of takes away the motivation. I just got to like, okay, feel the wood in my hands once a day, just tap on the pad a little bit. And over time, I get momentum, and momentum is like, you're just used to it. It becomes a habit. You know what you did yesterday, you know what you want to achieve tomorrow. And it just creates like a wave in an ocean, just this momentum of energy. And so I don't really rely on motivation. Are there days I don't want to do it? For sure. There's a great quote by Stephen Pressfield, the author. He says, get your ass where your heart wants to be. I love that. Get your ass where your heart wants to be. So if your heart is in drums, you gotta get your ass right here on this throne. And so I don't care if I'm motivated or not. I'll just put my butt here. And I know when I start tapping and start moving, after even 3 minutes, I get that rush of energy, that sense of satisfaction, and then it becomes easier to do it tomorrow. And then that's where my motivation comes from. So I hope that helps. Get your inner child, tap into the joy of it. Be clear in your vision, your mighty why, so you're clear on exactly why you do this and what your goals are. And then just don't rely on motivation, rely on habit, and just break it down into those micro goals. So great question, Stacy. Oh, and I'll add one more thing into that. A lot of people find it challenging to be motivated when they're all alone. And today we just finished a really killer group session where we had on Stefan Chamberlain. If you know him, he's a friend of mine, just killer drummer, so passionate, great musician. And we had this big group on. We all learned together and we tapped into like community. We're all there live. And so that, if you're isolated and you're going on it alone and you don't have any accountability, don't really know what to do next, you don't have any community around you, man, that can suck the life out of you. And I've heard this from many drummers. I've experienced this myself. Sometimes people around you don't understand why you do it. It's like, why are you always hitting stuff? Forget that. You're just making noise, and it can drain you, right? So part of the motivation is like tap into people beyond just you, like never lone wolf it. Isolation is the enemy of excellence for sure. So don't be isolated. Tap into something bigger than yourself. Outstanding. So next question, I love this one. This is from Joe. How do I get into open-handed drumming? Okay, super easy question, right? No, we could be here a long time. And I've got a playlist on if you're joining me on YouTube, my YouTube channel, I've got a playlist, tons of open-handed content. This is how I play. I believe in looking at this instrument as zones and really tapping into my body language and breathing and almost like you'd play piano or approach martial arts, right? So open-handed. But I can remember playing for Cross for years, and I was like, I kind of didn't know where to start. I'm like, I want to get into it, but it's so uncomfortable. I really don't know where to start. And so I totally get that. And I remember that. And I really gradually built my way up to playing 100% in doing it. And it really took, I remember I did it like all by myself, like sometimes once a week when I practiced, and try to work my weaker hand. And then I kind of played like one song with my band on stage live. That was a big deal. It just gradually happened, right? It was in drops, not waves. So it slowly happened. But okay, so if you're getting into it, so one approach, I mean, it's kind of obvious, right? Like anything you do with your right hand, just move it to, well, actually, first, anything you're doing cross, you can just get something on your right side if you're right-handed like me. So instead of crossing, you're doing it here. The drummer in AC/DC does this, Chris Slade. I just saw on the cover of Modern Drummer, the drummer from Weezer. And he's got a cable hi-hat, so you need to invest in that instead of the straight rod. And his hi-hat's here. So anything he played like this, anything cross, just move here. So that's maybe the first way to start. Danny Carey from Tool does that. He used to play cross, then his hi-hat's like here. So technically it's open-handed because open-handed is just not crossing. But if you're gonna get that left hand there, for me it's my left hand on my hi-hat. That was really strange at first because I had this, but flipping it was like taking a guitar and, I don't know, flipping it around, or taking a pen and you move it to the other hand. That's how I looked at first. So one thing is just take, a basic pattern and just see if you can mimic it left side. And this goes back way back to Jim Chapin. So if you know him, the great drummer educator, Jim Chapin, I was lucky to spend some time with him. And even back in the 40s, he would get people, like, if you're playing jazz, something you do in the right, so like at least make sure you give it a shot with the left, and just so like mirror image it. Now, you may have to start simple, maybe like something like that, and it will come. But just, those beats you learned, like Billie Jean from Michael Jackson, I just start to do that. Okay, now I'll share one more concept on that, which is really fun with open-handed. So once you've got some of that basic stuff, and like you got kind of a foundation, it's like, what do you do then? So something that I find really fun to do is what's called like using flam rudiments. Okay, so if you're familiar with flam rudiments or not, I'm going to use two right now. So if you don't know these yet, you're going to have to spend some time to get used to them. There's a lot of flam rudiments. Flams are cool because some of the hits are together, and then some of the hits are not. So creates really interesting counter rhythms between the hands. So if you take away one hand, the hand that's going is doing something pretty cool on its own, like its own kind of rhythm. So two rudiments you can use is Swiss triplets and flam taps. Okay, so Swiss triplets could go on either side. So I'm gonna do this on my pad here. And so if I'm doing a right-handed Swiss triplet, so it's gonna go right hand flam, right, left. Right, left, right, left, right, left. And once you get comfortable with it, deep breaths, relax. Now what's cool is if I take away one hand, so I'm just actually doing a double stroke roll. But so instead of like this, they're kind of like interspersed, if that makes sense. Because that's a Swiss triplet. So if it's new to you, go slow, get it in your muscles. If you're familiar with it, cool. It's a really, really cool tool. We'll use it on, we'll turn this into a groove in a sec. Now flam tap is like right, flam tap, flam tap. So right hand flam tap, left hand flam tap. Tongue twister, flam tap, flam tap, flam tap. One thing I learned with rudiments, by the way, don't speed them up. I almost did it. So pick a speed and stick to that speed. Stop. I'll go a little faster. flam tap, flam tap, flam tap. Breathe, relax. Now what's cool is if I take away one hand, find out the rhythm, just 3 hits. Swiss triplet and flam taps. So if I take this to the drum set, it's going to be cool because some counter rhythms are going to happen. So just for this, I'm going to keep 4 on the floor on the bass drum, and I'm going to do 4 Swiss triplets and 1 flam tap. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 flam taps. Swiss triplets. Let me do it over here. So Swiss triplets, 2, 3, 4 flam tap. 1, 2, 3, 4 flam tap. Now I'm phrasing these as 16th notes. Taka-dee-me, taka-dee-me, chicka, chicka, chicka. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you're not ready for this yet, cool, just watch me try it out in the set and just try to get the gist of it. But the main point is really just to use those flam rudiments. So the groove ends up being Swiss triplet, try talking when you're doing it. So Swiss triplet, Swiss triplet, Swiss triplet, Swiss triplet, flam tap, Swiss triplet, Swiss triplet, Swiss triplet, flam tap. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, taki, taki, taka, dee-me, taki, taki. Now I'm just sharing something that's been inspiring me, but any flam rudiment will, when you break it up on the hands, will sound really neat. So I'm going to play just 4 on the floor with the bass drum. I'm just putting my left hand on the hi-hat. You could also do it this way too. You'll actually get a neat effect there. And let's see how it sounds. Ooh, that's cool. I really like that. And that's just a fun thing. So the bigger picture is, again, just flam rudiments, because if I'm playing that and I take away one hand, da 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 da. So it kind of sounds more complicated than it is in a way, but it's just different than the straight up, like, that stuff's cool too. That's all good and great, open-handed, but you notice, like, what else can I do? You know, what else is going on? So the flam. And then it'll just, the whole point is just to spark ideas. So if I just kind of so I'm going to get out of the flam rudiments a little bit and see what happens. Wow, that's actually a really cool idea. I'm going to record that when I'm done today. So I kind of did just a couple of them. There's little pieces of them. Little floor tom hit there. So you're seeing a raw idea just kind of come out here, but it's neat. That's pretty cool. And all I'm really thinking as a gateway there's just flam rudiments, because I spent some time getting the flam rudiments is like, you got to put in the time, you got to do the work, right? But I'm not overcomplicating that. You can see I'm not have a, a book open, one E and a two E and a three E, and I'm just like, okay, letting the groove guide me, starting with those basic ideas and seeing where it goes. I've been playing open-handed a long time. I didn't just start doing this one day, so it comes in little drops, but we're just trying to spark new ideas here. So the bigger idea is just flam rudiments. That's really it. So a couple more quick ones. Maggie asked, where do I start? And I think Maggie's brand new to drumming, and she's like, where do I start? This blocks a lot of people from ever doing it, because I know even like what I just did there, like, okay, I don't even have a drum set. Oh, how do I even get all that stuff? Where do I put it? I don't even know how to read music yet. What's Chris talking about with flams? Oh my gosh, I haven't even tried open-handed. It can just seem so freaking overwhelming, right? Like, where do I start? So the real answer is really simple, and it's going to sound overly simple. It's just start. Just start. And what I do with my LTR method is really simplify things and really just delete all that noise and just putting all that weight on your shoulders where you have to learn everything. So if you need to get a pad, from Amazon and some sticks, and you're just tapping to some music you like, cool. We had this drummer in the community. Her name was Sarah, and she was an actor from Toronto, and she just loved to drum and play music and blow off steam. And she had like a little pad. She had like a little apartment in Toronto. She had a pad, and her pedals were like $2.99 flip flops you'd buy in like a dollar store, like to wear at the beach for your feet, right? So just put on, just imagine like sit at the pad, put on those flip flops. There's your bass drums, your hi-hat, and on her laptop or her phone, she like just play some songs and just kind of play the beats. And like, cool, you're doing it. A couple beats. You have some songs you like. You put it into a playlist. You got your flip flops. You're doing it. You're doing something. And then you build on that. You build on that slowly. So the simple answer is just start, and it'll be messy. So my advice to people is like, do it badly. Do it badly. And I know that sounds crazy, right? Ernest Hemingway said like the first draft of any work that he did was total garbage. And it was like refined, 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 refined. So you don't start out like even the space I'm in. Like I played in the worst spaces you can imagine. Furnace rooms and dirty garages and crappy sets. I had one time like a few pads and like I just had a hi-hat at one point. So I had like a real hi-hat and then just some pads, some plastic pads. It's like, okay, that's something. And I built this bass drum thing out of wood and had a pedal kind of knocking it. Total ghetto approach. It gets you one step further as you go, right? So just start and just take that first messy step, do it badly, and you'll refine it over time. So excellent. Okay, last question. What's inspiring me? That's from Max. Great question, Max. I try to find inspiration from everywhere, from cooking, from painting, from art, just from the way drumming feels to me. There's no rules with this. Could be a movie or something, an emotion. But one of my favorite things sometimes is just to play to music where I can do anything I want. And one of my favorite drummers, Eloy Casagrande, killer drummer. If you don't know him, check him out. He's in Slipknot and he was in Sepultura. Great drummer, plays all styles. Love him. He's from Brazil. And he's got some drum covers on YouTube. And I love, he says, he's like, I'm doing it my way. This is my way. And he just prefaces it right away. And he's like, I might, you can give me angry comments. I might have missed a thing or something. I'm just going to do it my way. So that's one of my favorite things. And I recently found this. I'll just end us out and I'll play a bit of this, called Poets of Rhythm. Where are they from? Maybe they're from New Orleans. I don't know how I didn't even hear about this group. They're from like New Orleans, maybe the 70s, I think the early 70s. And it just raw is a cool sound. And I just like to, I'm not trying to play the exact rhythms like that. That's inspirational in itself. You know, when you try to learn a song note for note, I get it. I have my, got some books over there. I'm working through that my mentor has given me, and I'm writing music, and I got some like hard drives with my ideas. I'm working on all kinds of stuff. But just as a general like way to keep excited about drums, I like to just like, I call it PPM, press, play, and move. So in my book, the LTR drumming method, Life Through Rhythm, got all these like protocols and methods and habits and methodologies and stuff. So check it out. That's going to be coming out later this year. You can get it pre-ordered on chrislasso.com and connect with me, learn more about this community. And oh, and an open-handed guide too. If you're into open-handed, chrislasso.com/OHD. chrislasso.com/OHD. So open-handed drumming. We're talking about that. There's a whole guide there for you, and lots of stuff on my website, chrislasso.com. You can learn more about this community. But that's, yeah, just, we call it in there PPM, press, play, and move. And it's so simple, and it's just fun. And I'm like, no pressure to, learn the song, and my books are closed. And it's just kind of like, I tap into that fire that I love about drums, and then I can do all the other stuff. So I hope that makes sense. And I'm just finding new things, and I'll make playlists and new songs come up. So I'm going to just jam to like a minute of this. I don't know what's going to happen. This is live. Let's do this. So this is Poets of Rhythm. Here we go. You drop sticks, you're jamming, it's all good. I remember I saw Chad Smith once with the Chili Peppers, and he had like 10 sticks around him when he was done. So, so loose and relaxed. I'm just kind of experimenting, I'm trying stuff. It's all good. And I'm like, wow, that's fun. Like that might not have been, I don't know if I would have been fired by the band for playing some of that stuff. I'm just trying stuff. I'm just having fun, and I'm discovering, and I'm staying curious. So it's really cool. So that's kind of my go-to to stay inspired. It's very simple. Sounds almost a little overly simplistic, but it's cool. So thank you everybody for these questions. Connect with me at chrislasso.com. We do this regularly. Throw me a question or come on live. And